Hey everyone, welcome to Wax Pack Wisdom. I'm Jake T. O'Donnell. Trying out some different stuff with my microphone today. I got a new phone recently, so I've been testing a few things out, and so using the microphone that I usually use for podcasts and live streams. So hopefully it sounds pretty good. I want to talk about a sort of not super fun thing, another not super fun thing involving one of the grading companies. Please check out Dan's Vintage Baseball PC's channel. On Saturday, I recorded the fourth episode of Community Service Project with Dan. It was myself, Dan, Greg, Midlife Cards, and Mike, Junk Wax Hero. It's always a great time when we get together and chat. We talked about important things, not so important things, and it was a great wide-ranging conversation. And I had the opportunity at the end to do a rant. Dan lets us do rants at the end. So I did my rant on this subject that I'm going to kind of expand on a little bit more here. But go and check out Dan's channel, and please watch the Community Service Project. It was so much fun. What I want to talk about is about PSA, and it's everyone's favorite thing to complain about. But I don't really use PSA for grading anymore. But I did decide to avail myself of the PSA vault, and I sent some cards to the vault. I think I'm going to maybe start to use the vault a little bit more. I might use it it's a good way, if I'm being completely honest with you, and they encourage you to do this, because the vault is located in Delaware and there's no sales tax there. If you buy a card or you win a card in an auction, you get it from eBay, you get it from somewhere else. You can have them send it to your vault address in Delaware, and you don't have to pay sales tax. So I think I may avail myself of that a little bit more. And what happened is that I sent 3 cards in. And the lesson here is that you can't necessarily trust the vault. And as much as I just said that I might try to avail myself of the vault more often, I have reason to have some pause for using it, and I'll tell you why. My 3 cards made it into the vault completely fine. However, PSA made a mistake, and I was taken by surprise when I looked at this, and you're going to see up put on the screen 2 cards, and I've blurred out the cert numbers just to protect the actual owner of these cards. They put in this 2012 Topps Allen and Ginter's autographs of Yu Darvish in a BGS slab, and an A-Rod 1996 Upper Deck card in a PSA 10. They put those cards in my vault. Those cards do not belong to me. Those are not my cards. PSA messed up. They put somebody else's cards in my vault, which is bad enough to begin with. That's bad enough. And again, mistakes happen. But still, if you send your cards into PSA to the vault, you expect that they're going to go in your vault. Obviously, you don't expect this type of a mistake to happen. But that's not even necessarily the worst part. If you look on here, you look at the right-hand side. You see the number, the $30 there, the PSA estimate, the 30, and then the estimate below it. That $30, you see where above the A-Rod card, it says 1 offer. That means that PSA, because they've been doing this, they make offers on your cards if you send cards into grade or you send cards to your vault. They make you an offer for the card. So they not only did they mistakenly put the wrong card in my vault, they made me an offer. 1 click. I could have sold that card and pocketed $30. I mean, it's such a massive mistake on their part. And this obviously a $30 card, hopefully that wouldn't necessarily cause a huge issue for anybody. But still, I feel like, and this ties back into this whole shill bidding discussion that's been going on and all of the stuff around the hobby itself being this place that there's so many bad actors. And myself, not just as a collector, but just as a person, I couldn't live with myself if I took the money for this card, or I just left these cards in my vault. I try to live my life as a person of high character, and so I couldn't let that go. I reached out to PSA customer service, and I said, "Listen, you guys put the wrong cards in my vault," and they got back to me pretty quickly, and they said, "We're very sorry. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. This doesn't happen very often. We're going to get right on this. I'm going to work with the vault team and make sure that this gets taken care of." So within a couple hours, they had removed the cards from my vault. And hopefully they got into the correct person's vault. And one of the things that they said, and I'm going to put up on screen what they put in the email. "Thank you again for your honesty and integrity." It tells me that not everybody does this. That not everybody who gets the wrong cards in their vault does the right thing. Because again, not only could I have just taken that PSA offer, I could have done one click and put those up for auction on eBay or up for sale on eBay. Like by PSA's estimation, those were my cards. So it just goes to show again that, like, the worldwide leader in grading, the worldwide leader in these services, PSA, they're run by people and they make a ton of mistakes. This is just one of so many mistakes. And again, I'm not expecting a company like PSA to be perfect, but this is bad. Like, this was really bad. So it kind of goes to show that you can only really trust yourself. You can only really trust your own judgment and maybe a few people around you that you trust. So I don't know what to tell you. If you're going to use a PSA vault, just be really careful. Make sure that those cards get in your vault. And even the cards that I sent in, it took like a week plus after they were received by PSA at the vault to put them in. So just buyer beware, user beware. Again, I'd like to be able to use the PSA vault to save on sales tax on cards, but I'm questioning whether or not I'm going to do that after this experience. Okay, so that's that topic. Usually these videos, when I do this stuff, I like to show cards later on in them. And so what I will do is I'll show, because I haven't shown them other than on the hit list, the last 2 raw cards that I bought last Sunday at the Shriners Show, and a gift that I don't think I've shown at all that I got last Sunday. In addition to these 2 cards, I bought some wax. So I'm going to mention that I bought last Sunday. I bought 2. I guess we hate to use the term commons because these were great players and these were players with long-term careers in the big leagues, but they were not Hall of Famers, and these guys are worth, in my opinion, they're worth collecting. I know not everybody feels that way, but I feel like it, and I feel like I'm in good company that with some other collector friends that I know that like to collect these types of guys. So I bought these 2 cards from the great dealer Ed Hands. I'm going to link to his website. I had bought a card from him on Friday as well. I bought a Red Rolf Diamond Stars card, and I have to give some credit to Dan's Vintage Baseball PC, to Dan, because he had gone through Ed's raw stacks at the show and picked out 2 cards. Picked out a few cards, I think, from sets, but these were sets that I didn't have cards from, and I was a little jealous, so I decided to go through the stacks too and pick out some things. So I didn't have any of these 1909 Colgan's Chips cards, these little circle cards. So I picked up this one. This is Harry Davis of the Philadelphia A's. This is from 1909. And Harry Davis was the first baseman before Stuffy McInnes in the $100,000 infield for the A's. And you see the backs here. These are such neat cards. There's still a lot of great players in this set. Famously, there's a Honus Wagner in this set with the same Carl Horner image that is on his T206. But Harry Davis was a great first baseman, multi-time, I believe, world champion with the A's. He led the American League in home runs 4 years in a row in the 1900s. Right-hand man for Connie Mack. He then spent years as a coach and did manage. I believe he managed the Indians for 1 year. And then went back and was a long-time coach for the A's. So it just has a kind of a crease going through his face. But I was really happy to pick this up, and I paid under $100 total for these 2 cards. And I'll show you. The second one that I picked up was from a set that I didn't have any cards from. This is I think it's 1927. It's the E126. This is the final American Caramel set. American Caramel made a lot of different cards throughout the first quarter of the 20th century. And this is of Lou Blue. And it's a great image of him reaching up for the ball. First baseman for the Tigers. Check out the back on the E126 there. All the great writing on the back there. Lou Blue was a long-time first baseman in the American League, most of the time with the Tigers. I think he spent a few years with the Browns, a few other teams. And he had a good career, never like a superstar, but just a solid hitter and a really good first baseman. And he served during World War I. He was not deployed to Europe, but he was a World War I veteran. He is from the Washington, D.C. area originally. He settled in Arlington, Virginia, and he is buried in Arlington National Cemetery. And one interesting thing to note about Lou Blue is that he's the subject of one of these sort of possibly apocryphal, not real minor league stories from the early 2000s, or sorry, from the early 1900s, that it's hard to verify the story that when he was in the minor leagues, just before he made his debut with the Tigers, there's a story that, because he was a switch hitter, the story is that in the ninth inning, his team was down by 4 runs. He came up from one side of the plate, and nobody can decide which side was which, but he came up from one side of the plate, hit a game-tying grand slam in the bottom of the ninth inning. And then later on in extra innings, he came up to the plate from the other side of the plate and hit a walk-off grand slam. So 2 grand slams from 2 different sides of the plate in the same game. The problem is that there's multiple accounts of this happening, but the problem is that there's no official record of it. Bill McGowan, the Hall of Fame umpire, was an umpire in that game, and he swore in multiple accounts that that's the story and that's what happened. But there's no official account of the game. Sometimes the minor league records are spotty back then, but he is again blue subject of one of those crazy minor league stories that are maybe hard to verify. So anyway, really happy to pick these up. Shout out to Ed Hands again. I'm probably going to grade these. I'm probably going to send these in my next SGC order. That I don't know when I'm going to send that out. And then, like I said, I picked up some wax too, but I wanted to share the last gift that I received. And this is from Ryan McClanahan, who runs History Through Cards and is a great commenter, great friend. Got to spend a lot of time with him on Saturday of the Shriners. I saw him on Sunday, and he gave me something very unique and very interesting. And this is it. This is an official lineup card, the manager's copy of it from a Red Sox game in 1987. This is from August 25th, 1987, signed by John McNamara. And this is the visiting manager's copy. So this is a really unique item. See, it's got the ground rules for Fenway Park on the back there. And you see the lineup. Ellis Burks, the very beginning of his career. Marty Barrett, Wade Boggs, Mike Greenwell, the late Mike Greenwell. Dwight Evans playing third base, very interesting. We looked this up. I looked this up with, I had showed this on the before the live stream last weekend, and it was interesting. Mike Junkwax here pointed out that this was the one year that Evans played quite a bit of first base, actually. Sam Horn at DH, and he is Sam Horn is kind of a local folk hero. There's a famous message board, old time message board. From 20-plus years ago called Sons of Sam Horn that was might even still exist, I'm not sure, but it was a sort of famous hub of activity for Red Sox discourse in the sort of early days of the Internet. There you see that Dave Henderson, Spike Owen, John Marzano at catcher, and Al Nipper was the pitcher that day. I looked up the box score. The Red Sox played the White Sox that day at Fenway Park, and the Red Sox won 7-3. And so thank you to Ryan for that gift. That's a super unique gift. I have it in this page because I put it right in my Red Sox binder. So that's it for today, guys. I just did want to share that PSA story. Just like, again, beware working with these companies. You never know. I am expecting to get an SGC order return on Monday, tomorrow. Or I'm recording this on Sunday. I'll probably put this up Monday. Hopefully I get my my SGC submission back, and I will publish that on Tuesday, and open probably more wax later next week, and we'll see what comes up. So thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate you watching. Again, go check out Dan's Vintage Baseball PC to see the community service project. Check out where to follow us on social media channels. Check out our ComC store, and check out our list of favorite nonprofits and charities. It would mean a lot to me if you could support one of them. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Wax Pack Wisdom. Take care.